Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the GFreak Speaks podcast, episode number 45. This podcast is brought to you by absolute fucking nobody. So if you want to sponsor the podcast, hit me up, slide into the DMs and jump on board. But today joining us, we have KANE, aka Aussie Andy. Welcome to the podcast, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad, man. Thanks to everyone that's watching, and just appreciate having me on. And it makes me feel a little bit special and relevant these days. So
Relevancy. Feeling irrelevant nowadays.
These days, yeah, I'm washed. I got nothing going for me in terms of content. But it's whereas we're living a little humble life now, just being quiet and just doing my thing. So it's not like the old days where I'm just my head's popping up everywhere on Twitter or like every sort of content video. No, man, it's I'm pretty just doing my thing and just relaxing, really. So yeah, old man. So.
That was some funny shit you did back in the day, man. Like, jumping up and down on a fucking trampoline, having sprinklers and stuff, shaving your head.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's one of those things. I actually did so recently I'm studying film at uni, and so recently I had to do a bit more of like a WordPress sort of thing about all my old content that I've done over the past few years, just being around in this Australian scene. And what it was about was my split personalities over the years. So, when I first started, I was one personality, and we go over the next couple of years, everything sort of progressed and I changed. There's probably about 3-4 different splits of personalities of me. So, but yeah, the backyard trampoline streams were probably the start of the cooked, just like stupid personality of what I've been in. Essentially, I was probably my most degenerate state. That's probably the better way to put it. So.
It was pretty funny, but hang on, split personality. So you have split personalities? Is that?
Oh no, not really. It's just like if you look back at it, like
persona.
So yeah. So my personas, like they've definitely changed over the years. Like, okay. So if we start if we're going back to how old am I? 24. If I was say I think I got into content about 18, 19. That was probably when I was starting. I started off with that. I'm not sure if you remember. It was like MF Cream Pie.
Yeah.
That was the first.
But the first one was Tainted Cream Pie.
Tainted Cream Pie.
No.
It was Mind Freak. It was MF Cream Pie, and then I moved to Tainted Cream Pie because MF weren't giving me much. So they weren't a fan of the content. So I was like, what, we'll jump on, but we'll go Tainted. So what started out was we started as Mind Freak Cream Pie, where I just make the Twitter videos, like 2-minute videos of just memes, and followed the Dens and the Call of Duty team, and it was just the biggest fanboy. But I kept for that whole probably 6 months of being MF Cream Pie, probably for about 6 to 12 months, I can sort of convince the community I had something wrong with me, like something serious wrong with me. So that was like my most degenerate state. I was pretty overweight. I was just playing games non-stop. I wasn't really working. Like it was, I actually didn't have a job at that time. I was just just out of high school. I actually lost my job because I was working for an old man's company, but he got sick. So I had nothing to do, all the time in the world, and all I did the whole time was, post 2-minute videos and play Call of Duty and just that was the start. But yeah, I don't know if you remember all that much from that era, but yeah, it was
no, I kind of do, man. I do. And then Tainted Cream Pie. So was that obviously Nick, AK? Actually, no, AK wasn't with Chiefs at the time. Nick, Josh.
No, it would have been. Yeah, Nick. I remember Josh. I'm not too sure if Voltress wasn't around then. Voltress, I think at that time he was still a CG admin. I'm pretty sure, or just coming out CG admin, just doing his thing. But once Tainted opened up a Call of Duty team, when they started to kick off a bit more, they picked up, I think it was Den's Damage, Nimble, and it was someone else. I can't remember. Oh, it's gonna play my brain. But anyway, they started opening a COD team, and I was like, you know what? If I follow these guys and pretend make the conversion to fanboy these group. I was friends with most of those guys anyway, and Tainted were a bit more laid back at the time, so they were they weren't pumping my content or weren't pushing it, but they were okay with it. Whereas back with the Mind Freak team, fucking naked hated my guts back then. They all hated me, and I was just doing they I had a lot of enemies back then, so so I had a lot of enemies. But
still do, mate. Probably.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. But fucking, I don't care. So, but once the tainted stuff kicked off, Nick and Josh sort of like yeah, fuck, this dude's funny. Like everyone pushed my content. I had like Dan's and stuff all sort of like push it as well. And it got to the point like I went to my very first LAN as well, which was like I think it was in, I can't remember what event it was, and it was like below Crown in one of the bottom rooms.
Yep.
I rocked up and everyone just like looked at me and everyone thought, I don't know if we don't know if he's a troll or if he has something wrong with him. And I was just like, for like the first like half of it, I was just trolling. I was like pretending I had something, like there wasn't something right with me. But then eventually I had to crack. So, and then after that, sort of everyone knew I was a troll. So everyone was like a big fan of it. But that were the actual days of, you know, my most degenerate state.
2015, man.
I don't know, man. I can't really remember too much about them, but I remember I ended up moving into my uncle's place, and I just had my cousin. My cousin was helping me with some of the content I was doing in the backyard and stuff like that. Running up the street with like the tainted jersey with a pretty much half naked with a keyboard under my arm, running around just screaming in the streets.
I do remember that clip. That was fucking funny.
Yeah, and then I remember I think Tainted were sponsored by, I think it was like ZQ Racing at the time, so I've fucking had my like my Officeworks chair and Tainted and taped over like a ZQ Racing sponsorship, made like a full sponsorship video. Yeah. Like everyone found it funny, but I just would love to know because I'm sure ZQ Racing would have seen it. Like
100%.
So I just love to know their reaction, because that's what I love. Is just like freaking out the more normie people and just making them so confused. So
for sure.
That was probably my most. I wouldn't say that's my most enjoyable content though. That was just like me getting into it and getting a feel for it. So
yeah.
But that was that was pretty much split one. That was like my first act essentially. That's the way I put it in my WordPress for uni. So.
It's phase 1 of 3 phases, yeah.
About 3 phases. Like there's a little yeah. Yeah, there's a few here and there that change a little bit, but that was probably the first one. So, but yeah,
that's funny. That Officeworks chair was fucking hammered from memory, bro. It was worse than Howie's one that I saw.
Yeah, bro, it was disgusting, man. Like,
it was bad.
I had no money at the time, and I was just like, you know, I'd be playing Modern Warfare Remastered, or I can't remember which code it was at the time, just sweating in it, and just like it was just disgusting. It's like, and it was yeah, it needed a new one, so yeah, we definitely upgraded. So it's since then.
None of the ZQ Racing sponsorship.
No, definitely not. I guess it's lucky for my old job. I used to work for the Good Guys, and Good Guys just had. I think Good Guys own JB, so JB have these for staff price. So you know, I was I was helping out the whole community at one point too. So.
Yeah, you were great, fantastic. Landed a TV, possibly a washing machine. It was great.
Yeah.
So phase 2, man. Phase 2. Hit me with it.
Phase 2 was phase 2 was my AUSSIEANDY era. So there was a time where I probably calmed down the first content stuff for a while and was just sort of chilling, just being a troll on Twitter. And I ended up moving into sort of like what's the best way to put it? So, if for the people that don't know, there was an Ice Poseidon era. So, Ice Poseidon was like quite a big live streamer at the time. He was probably he was best described as like king of IRL section, and I was quite a big fan of his streams. So I thought, you know, his Reddit was popping at the time. He usually had like 40,000 active people a day, and I started making Reddit videos like catering to his community, and the videos were also troll. Like I put on a different personality altogether as then. Like I was just like this diehard fan that had like a weird like dedication, you know, for his streams. And those videos I was popping, they were like, you know, some of them were like 4 to 5 minutes long. They were getting like 100,000 views, like 40,000 upvotes. Like they were sitting on the top of Reddit for like over a week, and they were really popping off. And my number one regret about that, I should have uploaded them to YouTube at the time, or rather than posting them straight on Reddit, because the Reddit's now gone.
Yep.
And so like it's really annoying. I can't go back and actually look at all the old content I had, you know, on there. But I've got some uploaded on my YouTube, but they're re-uploads. But the stuff I love reading is the comments after, not just the videos. So videos are one thing, but reading the feedback is the most enjoyable thing about anything. So so I started this AUSSIEANDY era, and that's, you know, Ice Poseidon would, you know, label different creators under him as Andys. So you'd have like a Mexican Andy, you'd have a tracksuit Andy. There's heaps of them. So I was, Australian Andy being one of the only Andys, Australian content creators, and that was, what I was. That was now my name. So rebranded my Twitter, and then started. While I've got this name, I was making content, still making Call of Duty content for teams. Like just, I think I was working for Prodigy at the time or Tainted. I can't really remember, but I was making a lot of like video edits for, the teams that would go overseas and travel with them and do all that sort of stuff. So yeah. I was doing some serious content, but at the same time, I was just doing my roots of just being a troll. At the same time, I was streaming. I was, slightly before that, I was streaming. I was doing the cream pie live streams, the backyarders we were talking about with backyard campfires. They were popping off. Like we were averaging like 200-300 viewers a stream, which is really good for someone in Australia at that time. Like we had quite a small community, so like getting those numbers I thought was quite good. Especially like I'll stream maybe like once every 2 weeks, once a week.
Yep.
And being able to pull those, it was quite good.
It still is, bro.
Yeah, it is. But it's for those sort of streams, it's really like. It's pretty taxing to put in so much effort into those streams and, do it every day. So, pulling those views all like consistently is quite hard in my opinion. So after the AUSSIANDY era of sort of, making these videos for Ice Poseidon, I decided, MLG Anaheim was coming up and I was going over, I think, I can't remember which team it was, but I went over. I was someone, I can't remember which org it was, but they funded me to go over.
I swore you went with Vertex or MyFreak.
Yeah, no, I think that was Vertex was later on, but I think it might have been mine. I can't remember.
You went with MyFreak because you added dinner. I remember
I was hanging out with
a table. You were hanging out at a table, and I know that Albert was like frothing it too.
I can't remember. I honestly have no clue. So I went overseas, and at the same time, MLG Anaheim is like maybe 30 minutes away from Ice Poseidon's house, and then you've also got and then I was also doing the MLG event as well. So I was doing a mixture of both. But for like Ice's stream, I was just having this like perception I was coming over to see him. That's the only reason I was coming over. So I was sort of like convinced his whole community I was coming over for this reason while making videos. So ended up the stream went, the visit of Ice Poseidon went horrible, absolutely horrible. It was like 40,000 live viewers. I had one of the people from Reddit pick me up from MLG event, drop me off at Ice's, and like, I'm not too sure if I can talk about it, but I was definitely not sober on certain things, and I rocked up to this house absolutely beaming, and I should not have been because it's like first time ever doing this thing, and rocked into his house, stormed into 40,000 live viewers, looking on the side. There's the chat's just gone mental, and like I didn't know what to do. I was just like gobsmacked. I was just like frozen. Like it was so weird seeing his face online and then come seeing him in person. And you just go like, fuck, this has just been intense. And I end up having a bit of a meltdown on the stream, so there's a massive like a viral video of just me having a meltdown. So it's definitely, that one was I don't have regrets. I definitely don't have any regrets. I wish I just took the situation a little bit better in my opinion. So but after that event, produced some content, came home, sort of just relaxed for a while, just living off that hype for a bit. I ended up extending my stay in MLG Anaheim. I actually stayed at Ice Poseidon's house for like a week. Walked around with a few of the streamers, so it was like a good experience. Like I was hanging out with I was going to like music studios with like Annie Milanakis and all that sort of stuff, and it was
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience. Like just
a quick one. Was that the Anaheim event where you were in the background of the camera doing like some weird shit?
I did so much shit like that event. Like I was doing some weird shit. Like I knew that like that sort of shit would pop off, and then did a whole bunch of, I did like 3-4 videos, and a lot of them I edited while I was over there. Like that's the one thing that I think Australian like esports like is not getting content out while you're actually at the event, and I was just smashing through it and got everything out. Then also seeing us Poseidon, so it's like ticked a lot of boxes, and like but yeah, that was probably my, I'd say, second act. It's like halfway through my second act. Came home, lived off that hype for a little bit. My Twitter was like blowing up at that time because I've got two communities. I've got Call of Duty community, and I've also got the Purple Army, which is Ice's community. And so yeah, I just sort of calmed down for a little while and just had my head down, and eventually came back to streaming. So that was probably my next era. So but yeah, it's a lot has happened since those days, but it's that was probably my peak. That was, I would say, my peak in terms of content. That was probably, probably the most wildest I've sort of experienced over the past few years. So yeah,
it's quite a different journey, that's for sure. It's very up and down to the left and right and whatnot, and there would be a lot of external pressure that you'd be getting from your family and friends, and then putting yourself out there to the community itself, just in a fucking different way.
Well, that's exactly it. Like, I was doing all this at like 18, like 19, 20 years old. Like, I was fucking doing so much. Like, I've went to over in that time. I've been overseas like 4 or 5 times. I was making content nonstop, and like that was a lot for like, or going on those live streams at 21 years old. It was pretty intense, and it was a lot for my age. So yeah, no, it was definitely a lot going on, and we continued down that act. It's just we sort of transitioned to I started my live streams and all the e-girl dating streams. So that was when I was probably that was probably when I was a bit more mature at that point. I was just still a troll. I was making a lot of. I was doing live streams. I had girls coming to my house. I was doing those dating streams, and they were popping. Like that was
I remember that, bro. That was funny as fuck. The one that stood out to me was, I think your first one was with that chick you grabbed her ass.
Yeah. So that was
Haley.
Haley,
That's right.
Yeah.
There it is.
So yeah. So I like, it was actually quite funny. So it's that was my first one I had where a girl came to my house and was doing wanted. At this time she had like 300 followers. Like she was.
Bro, you better be getting royalties in that business move right there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say much on that, because like it speaks for itself. But she had like 300 followers. Like essentially, like before she came on, I'm like, this is business. Like because like inviting a girl to your house that I've never met her. She has no idea about me. It's the first time doing one of these streams. Like, I just didn't want her coming to my house feeling uncomfortable, especially with the ideas I had for my stream.
Yeah.
So the idea of her coming to my house and having this like sort of business content sort of mindset, it's going to be a little bit on the, not on the MR rated side. Like, I will probably be touching it a little bit, and like, this is, it's like it was super awkward. I couldn't. It was really weird time.
Didn't you have a fucking sit down dinner as well on stream?
Oh man, it was so weird. Like
it was fucking unreal. It was great.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, so I pretty much, like, when she came to my house, I said to her, I'm like, this stream is going to be very awkward. Just be laid back. Just go with my flow. I promise you, I'm not here to do anything sus. I'm just like, let's just make a good stream. So, like, I had to get a photo of me like holding her ass and stuff. So it's like, that hyped up the stream before it even started, and it was just, it was a pretty insane stream. So we played Twister, we had like a dinner, and like it was popping. Like that stream had like 600-800 viewers in the space of like 30 minutes of just being up.
Yep.
Once again, like I wasn't really that big at the time, so it's sort of like a little bit, but like it wasn't. Yeah, it was definitely interesting. Let's put it that way. So
it was quite impressive to see you tear through numbers. Well, back to like you're camping outside, your perfectly timed sparkler moment. You're jumping up and down in your striped pajamas and shit, doing front flips and back flips. And you've got these dating show chicks, and she definitely. I hope she thanks you at least once every quarter.
I got nothing, man. I got a complete unfollow and everything. So, but
fucking hell.
I'm humble about it. It's just like, I like respect. She'd put in the work. She grinded. So, no, she was a nice bird. So I respect her a lot, especially for have the confidence come on that stream and do all that sort of stuff. So
it was pretty nuts that she actually even came over, and
yeah,
it was good that she was local too.
Yeah, a little bit local. So
did you find her on like a website, local hotties in your area?
Nah, not quite. I remember she was starting. I think she was friends with ASAP. I think it was like an old Call of Duty guy that was around the scene for a bit.
Yeah.
I know she wanted to get into OnlyFans, so I thought, what good way to do this and spread. I guess that my small following I had at the time to be able to sort of help her out and sort of give, while also being me being able to benefit. So like, essentially the deal was like, I'm going to give you the exposure of this stream, and in return, I'm going to keep the subs, or I'm going to, grow my community that way was the way I can. So like that stream was like, I ended up getting banned halfway through the stream, which is I was gutted because that was my second strike. So I got banned halfway through the stream, got taken off, and I was just spewing. But I think it was like it's which is crazy to me because like we got bathtub streams now, right? Like people can literally be half naked on stream. It was the way because the camera was pointed at our ass, and like this is all Twitches now. And I think I was just because it was early days, so I ended up getting struck for that. And I didn't actually get a lot of the sub revenue. I actually didn't. They pretty much taxed pretty much all of it. So I think and that stream there was like 150 subs easy. That's
nuts. So, it's a lot of money too. A lot of money. It all adds up.
A lot of money, especially when you're first starting out. It's not about that. I just wanted those consistent people to keep coming back, which was my first aim. But
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, man. So and even like I've seen a lot of dating shows that have tried to do it since, and it just doesn't go well.
It doesn't.
The only one that's good is like the Austin show. That's a dating show, isn't it?
I haven't watched the Austin show. I know Trainwreck was doing it. I think
Trainwreck was doing it. But yeah, Austin show. I think he's a content creator with the 100 Thieves. I'm pretty sure. And I think it is a date show.
They've got the thing is they've got the following. They've got the backing to be able to pull girls to actually go do that sort of stuff. Like. Whereas back then, I really had to I was properly grinding. Like I was messaging girls on Twitter, like saying, like literally doing sales pitches, like, "Hey, you should come do these streams, and this is why." And it was definitely hard to convince them because I only had on that Twitter account, I think I had like 1,500 followers or 2,000 followers. It doesn't really get you that far.
Yeah,
it's so you really have to over pitch yourself. But lucky, after those streams we progressed, like the girls saw how I guess like how much it can benefit them, that why we should do these these e-dating streams that I was doing after that. So and to be honest, like there's girls that was getting on those e-dating streams that I really appreciate, like Diddly Dong to this day. Like I really appreciate her coming onto stream, and like Zara and all that sort of stuff. They already had a following. They jumped on the stream because they were trying to help me out because they know I was actually trying to grind, get somewhere. And so don't get me wrong, there was a lot of people that would just shut me down just like in DMs. It's like I don't know if it was like an ego sort of thing or what it is, but
100%, bro.
Yeah, it is an ego thing. But I at the end of the day, I was just trying to have fun, and I appreciate the people who did help, and I actually think I helped out a lot of people that wanted to kick off. So
I think the sword fell both ways. It helped everyone, yourself and them and whatnot, and you bounce off each other. And I think it takes us back to teamwork, which the community definitely does lack. A lot of people don't want to work with each other because they're threatened and shitting themselves because you're going to steal my viewers, which you're not going to like. No one's going to fucking come to my stream if Amaranth stop streaming. You know what I mean? Like it's just not going to happen. So the mentality's got to change. Yeah.
So essentially after that was after those dating streams, I think I had like 250, 300 subs at that point, and I actually had a Europe trip coming up at that time. So, and I was actually planning with my my best friend to go travel around Europe for 6 months, or 4 months, sorry, and I had this idea, I was going to stream around Europe. That's why Vertex. So Jamie actually set me up with a streaming kit through. I think it was like Stream IRL or something like that. I can't really remember. So Jamie funded, for the streaming kit to be like, I think it was like $900 or something like that to stream for the period I was over there with a friend. But realistically, man, I got over to Europe and like that just really shot me down a bit because I was partying too much. I just didn't have the content grind to be able to, make content while on the go like that. It was too much. I was with my mate and it was just like you're in hostels and you're just partying the whole time. So I didn't really have that option to, make content. Well, I did have the option. I was just lazy and, that was the time was, the cookery really took over me and I really shot myself in the foot by going overseas at that time. I should have kept sticking to the content because I was really, I thought I was on that next step of, blowing up a bit potentially. So,
yeah.
But, everything happens for a reason at the end of the day. So, but yeah.
Shit, it's kind of depressing hearing that. So, are you still on the content grind, or what's the go, man? Like, I know that you're working pretty hard in the gym and stuff, posting some pretty jacked photos. Mad respect.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, it's interesting. So ever since then, I came back from Europe. Lost that passion. I think I lost the passion for a long time. Like, life really took a turn. I was practically a drug addict for about a year, 2 years. So, and after that, I had no drive to do any sort of passion projects, and I was really stuck figuring out what I want to do. And I was working an average job after Europe, and I wasn't enjoying it. So I was just like, I want to. After that, I moved to the city at the start of the year, and I in the middle of Melbourne CBD, and I'm just trying to. Everything's back in order. I got a new job. Everything's pretty crazy. I'm back making content, but not the content I was ever was making. I'm not necessarily like very much interested about being on camera all the time. I'm not, not trying to push my own, like what's personality representative, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. I'm just I want to make content for real content for whether it's organizations or companies, and that's really probably my next step probably over the next couple of years is just focus on building a portfolio in that sort of industry. So look, I'm studying film television at uni, so doing a bit of stuff at Fortress on the side here and there, and it's bits and bobs to orgs, and that's pretty much what I want to do down the track. So that's
fair enough, man. How's the mental health and stuff going right now, and especially how do you overcome like the drug stuff? I have to touch back on that, man.
Yeah, that's all good. The drug stuff was just it was quite hard because with the lockdowns it didn't help. Being trapped in your house for a year, it's like there's not really much to do besides party and sesh, and it definitely took massive mental toll, and it still's got like the the after effects, the aftershocks that I don't think we're really going to go for a long time, but it's overcoming that was having to move to the city, get sober, just be clean, just stick to focusing on work and not going out, just training, finding natural highs was really important for me rather than sitting there, getting it through a pill essentially. So that for a while that was my big thing. So, but now I'm sweet, man. Like I'm good. I'm back to making content, and if I'm making content, it shows I'm like probably the most healthiest I've been. I've got a new car. I'm planning to go eventually. I want to move over to Tokyo. That's probably my goal, and then probably the next year or so is do a work visa over there and finish my degree so I can get residency there. Maybe do some travel around Australia with the new car. So things are up, job's good, earning good money. It's just filling time and keeping busy is the main thing for the moment. So
that's good, man. It seems that you're definitely back on the right track, which is good, and your health is very important. You're still super young, so it's very easy for you to turn it around whilst you can. When you can adapt and learn things easier, and people love that young mentality and willingness to learn and adapt and take criticism and whatnot, which is good. That you identified all that by yourself and whatnot, but you found yourself in a new car. What's the car, man? Around Australia?
I bought a Hilux at the start of peak COVID prices, unfortunately, which they're still peaking. So
you won't lose on the Hilux though.
That's the thing. I ended up buying it for about 35, and that 35 is now down to about 45. So it's it's all kitted out. It's got the dual battery system, so everything's pretty good. Just need a fridge, canopy, and at some point I'll do the travels. That's what my brother's doing at the moment. He's going around Australia, but that's just it's good to keep. That's the natural serotonin I want. Just being outside, and you get it from that. So
dude, how good's like sitting by a fucking campfire and just looking at the flame? You don't even have to talk to anyone or water. A river.
Yeah, you can do it solo as well. Like you don't actually have to have anyone there. I think it's just legit. Just being outside is like the big,
for sure,
big thing. So that's the thing. I think you're lacking sort of the having a passion for gaming is one thing, but nothing healthy about being in your house all weekend, just playing games all the time and not getting actually any real sunlight. It boosts your mental so much, man. So
yeah, for sure. And even like you look at it, man, we're not really built to be looking at our phones, not built to be, gaming and doing all that stuff for long hours. We're built to go out there and use a club and fucking.
We're apes. We're apes, man.
I know. We're meant to be swinging from trees, bro.
Yeah, so eating trees and grass and all that sort of stuff, but
and
no,
throwing our shit from our assholes at people.
Yeah, so, but yeah, no, it's definitely so. But yeah, it's that's pretty much me. That's me living my humble life now. Is just focusing on probably setting myself up for the next 5-10 years, because the economy's weird at the moment.
Yeah.
If you don't sort of set yourself up now, you might be struggling when you're in your 40s. So that's my goal now, is knuckling down for a bit, making some cash, and hopefully buy a house, move overseas, do something. And I don't know, we're in a bit of a confusion state, but we're going forward. So
you have goals. I think that there's too many goals. So maybe if you narrow them down, then you'll be less confused. But the main thing is that
the hardest thing is narrowing them down. So when you want to do so much,
prioritizing order. I don't know.
That's true, but
only you can do that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've got to figure it out. I've already lived, so many different lives already. So I've lived so many different lives already, and I've done so much at my age. Practically traveled the world, and it's just figuring out the next step. And I don't, whether it's career wise, living wise, I don't know. It's just like I'm pretty random, but just always wanted to be doing something new. So
no, it's fair enough, man. Yeah. You got to keep moving and whatnot. And I think that with you, like, it seems that you have an addictive personality, which is good, because if you swing that towards something that's really positive, then
beneficial,
you're gonna be absolutely kicking ass, and whatnot. So it's sweet. But Tokyo, man, why Tokyo, bro?
I've been there about, I think, 2-3 times now, and the life's different. I like, as you were saying, sitting in front of a campfire, just being on your own. Being overseas in Tokyo, being sort of alone, is sort of a little bit soothing, and I think it's sort of stuck with me. Every time I go over there, I go, okay, I want to live here. This is, the people are awesome. People are quiet. The people don't have egos. The food's good. The cities are clean. The air's clean. It feels is clean when you go outside of Tokyo into the actual environment. It feels clean, and I think I don't know if I'd live there for the rest of my life, but I definitely want to live there for a period of time where it's it's different. I want it to be. I like it's weird. It's really weird. It's not knowing the language is going over there is just it's freaky, but I like putting myself in situations where it's going to freak me the fuck out, and it's definitely, and the people are polar opposite to me, man. So you walk around, blonde hair, blue eyes, people freak out. Like it's awesome. So
you get a reputation over there, man.
Yeah, well, hopefully a good one. So
fingers crossed for you, bro.
Yeah, thank you. So,
but then you've got your camping stuff to come back to. If you do come back to Australia and whatnot, and that'll be cool. Like I think that right now, something that's not really super explored would be like camping content. There's a few out there, but doing those like time lapse videos don't even have to talk, man. You just set up your Trangia, cook a steak, and sit by a fire and set up a portable marquee. That's it.
I think I watch, like, for example, my TikTok feed is full of just camping, like Australian camping, like traveling around Australia.
Yeah.
And I watch all this content. All the personalities are pretty similar. Like everyone's got, like let's everyone get a 79 series car and, let's make a TikTok with some cool music over it, and that's sort of it. But like no one actually has like these personalities that are presentable. So I don't know whether I go back and make content or that in that. I'm not too sure. I want to, obviously just enjoy the moment more than anything. But I know the one thing that I always keep thinking about is how cool would it be for someone to do a consistent live stream around Australia and like in areas that like haven't been done. I don't think it's going to be able to be done for a while, but down the track, once the internet improves in sort of like Northern Territory areas and just in the wild, it'd be so cool to see someone live stream going across the whole thing. Mate, imagine that on Twitch. Like it hasn't been done. So
you could do it. You could do it, and the reason why it is possible now is because of Starlink. You'd have to buy one of those big iPad-looking satellite dishes that he has, and just have that strapped to your backpack, or have someone.
So is that? But that's the one thing I'm curious about. If with the Starlink, isn't that set for certain areas? Like, isn't that set for homes or not really? Everywhere. That can be done anywhere.
As far as I know, it's everywhere. As long as you have that dish and you're connected to that dish, then you're sweet.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's just how it works because it pings up to the satellites instead of how we have it, which is under the ocean or on the ocean floor. I think it's $1,700 to buy and install, like to start up.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's about $109 every month for the subscription for the service itself.
Yeah.
Okay. I know this because one of my buddies got one last weekend, and he told me about it.
Is he living in regional or something, or is he just want it for his car?
He's using it for his house because he does a lot of hosting of tournaments and events. So if his house internet Wi-Fi drops out here, then he has Starlink that would kick in. So he kind of has to have it. It's a tax write-off. He lives down the Monash somewhere, down that area.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, gotcha. Well, that's the thing. So, like, you know, maybe down the track that would be something be cool to, you know, live stream around Australia. But as I said, I'm not really overly interested in being on camera anymore. I'm just, you know, just doing my thing and just, you know, just want to enjoy the moment more than anything. You know, it's just we'll see. We don't know what the future is in that sort of aspect. So, yeah,
it's kind of like that. Enjoy the moment. Like at like a music concert, you see a lot of people with their phones up in the sky.
Phones out, yeah.
And it's just like, put your fucking phone down and just enjoy the moment. You know,
yeah, I don't mind. Like, I completely understand getting like a photo or something, but like, you know, people uploading their full event just onto their story. It's that's the one thing that, you know, psychedelics has really opened up on my brain is like, you got to really enjoy the moment. You got to enjoy the people around you. You've got to, you know, just drop your self-conscious ego and just just enjoy your life essentially, rather than just living it through a phone or a computer. You know, as much as I love technology, it's just you need to figure out the moments. So
for sure, and I think that's what we kind of miss. We're kind of missing that as a generation. Even like, you know, I'm 25, you're 24. The kids coming up nowadays, it's always about getting your phone out. Even every encounter with police officers, they've got a phone in their face. All that type of shit. There's always a fucking phone, man. And it's just, like, I understand it. And it's funny. And even if you're having a sesh with the boys and, you know, someone does something funny, like, you quickly might record that thing. But
yeah, but you don't actually, like, you sit there recording. But yeah, don't get me wrong, it's funny to look back at the video. But imagine you never really talk about those funny times because you got it on camera. You go, oh, look at this video. You don't think about, oh, do you remember that time we did this back in, like, you know? So that's where so that's what I really enjoy is just that's more of the moments that I want. And that's a big example of when I went around Europe. That was by far one of the best moments of my life because I remember every funny thing and every just cooked story that I've had with my mate my mate that I traveled with, and I remember everything so finely because, you know, and don't get me wrong, I got so much good content that I uploaded, like from my phone, I saved so much, but there's so many things that we can go back and talk about. So that's essentially is how I want to sort of spend the rest of my, you know, life is thinking about those sort of moments. So
yeah, you kind of miss it, man. You kind of like miss it just looking at your phone and doing this and, you know, like holding it up there and doing that shit. You're like a little fucking gremlin looking down, you know what I mean?
For sure, and like that's the thing. I'm still guilty of it. Like everyone's still guilty of it. It's just, you know, everyone's. It's an addiction that we'll never be able to break, and you know, it's a cognitive enhancement. Like it's literally a part of us now. You know, the phones are a part of us. We use it to, you know, think. If we need to understand new information, we're always going to go back to it. So it's but yeah, so that's just humbling yourself, I guess.
It's pretty sketchy, but look, you mentioned psychedelics before. This does interest me. I'm not one that's ever done any sort of drug. When you took a psychedelic, what did that unlock? I know that Joe Rogan talks about it on his podcast all the time.
Yeah.
If you can put it in layman's terms for myself and other people listening right now, what can you describe that to us as?
So best way I look at psychedelics, a bad trip is always a good trip. So whether it's and I'll tell you, man, I've had more bad trips than good trips. That's just my cook nature. It just kicks you in the ego. It brings you down to earth, and it really humbles you. And you know your worth, but you also realize, it's as much as it sounds really fucked up, you ain't shit to this world. You're nothing special. It's nice to think, you know. Obviously, you got to think of yourself as something, but it really brings you down. And whether it's, you know, me eating a shit ton of mushrooms or me eating a stupid amount of acid, even the shit trips of the time looping and all like the brain terror and brain stress you put yourself through, you'll come out the next day and you'll be like, okay, like I understand, like I know what's going on. Like you're not, you're nothing special, and that's the biggest thing that I sort of taken from it is, I'm no better than anyone else. So I was just, and when you're in your younger years and you're 18, 19, 20, you've got this, you're coming up and you've got this big ego, but that ego, at the end of the day, you're nothing. You got to. That's where I really humble myself, and I really, have a bit of a monk state to my sort of mindset at times. Don't get me wrong, I sometimes forget it, and my ego flares up a bit, but I always bring myself down. So,
absolutely,
I'm better than anyone.
Do you meditate by any chance?
Nah, not really meditate, man. I think everyone's got their own sort of meditation. Mine's, whether it's training or going out in the bush or something like that. That's what my sort of meditation would be. But I don't sit there with my legs crossed and say alhamdulillah.
Yeah. So, with your fucking fingers like this.
Yeah, no, not quite.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, man.
You're not a meditator, are you?
Nah, I'm not a meditator. I think that I should get into it. I think that not meditating, sitting there and thinking about fucking everything, but I think for me more would be yoga, maybe. Like I need to do more stretching.
Yeah, or it could just be something where you're having your thinking moments where, somewhere you can go think is essentially just meditating, where it's you're doing your own thing, whether it's video editing or something like that, it's, really thinking to yourself. So that's what I think meditation is all about, rather than just
sure. Like that's like for me, if that's the case, then active meditating would be for me whilst cooking a meal, whilst I'm by myself, in the think tank, the shower, or whilst blowing a dump out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people think about stuff there.
Yeah. I recommend doing it outside though if you're gonna meditate rather than sitting in a toilet, taking a dump. But
taking a dump outside.
That would be, to be honest, probably more meditating, right? If you think about
it. Imagine a shit with a view, bro. Like next to a river.
Shit with a view. Yeah, or shitting in a river. Shitting in a river, just watching going down the Murray, watching your floating turd go down. That'd be quite meditating for me. Relaxing.
Lands at someone's front yard because of the floods.
Yeah, right. They travel around Australia at the moment.
Oh my god, dude! It was a sunny as fuck day today, and it's like, Echuca's going to be copying. The water is going to be 50 or 75 meters above sea level in Echuca.
It's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts. It's apparently I've got floods near me, but I'm sitting in my house, everything's sweet and it's sunny. I haven't seen rain in a week, but apparently all these areas are just. I'm confused. Is it constantly raining everywhere, or
it's just flowing because the ground's hard? It doesn't absorb it, so it's just running off the top of it, like a wetsuit.
Okay. So what's just move? It's just moving everywhere rather.
It's going from the highest point, the mountains, and it's flowing all the way through to the ocean, which is the lowest.
And that was just off at one point. It was pissing down with rain.
That was from last Thursday, bro.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right.
Friday. How fucking nuts is that, man?
Yeah, it's doing damage. I see all the roads and shit are upside down and just potholes there.
Bro. It's fucking bad. My dad went through a massive pothole. Didn't see. He didn't have clear air. He was behind a truck. Drove into a pothole. Fucking blew out 2 of his left tires, bro. Front and the rear.
Yeah, right.
Fair to say he was spewing. Had to change his rim in the fucking rain, and it was bad.
Well, a rim's better than a house, right? So.
Oh yeah.
But that's what's the only thing that I'm wondering is the Murray filled up now because of this? I'm assuming so.
I'm pretty sure.
Because that was a big thing for a while.
Shepparton's bad right now, man. I know Shepparton's bad. Yeah,
I saw the whole town's underwater.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. I swear and New South Wales always gets the floods. I know New South Wales always get the floods, and they cop it pretty hard.
And Queensland, bro. This is those tropical states. All that shit's coming down to us, though, man.
Yeah, that's nuts, and they don't want to add more dams, so if they add more dams, hold on to the water. So that's what they want half the time.
Well, the issue is that all the water always it never goes to the farms. Oh, we got all this rain here, but it never goes to the farms. It's ridiculous.
They sell the water. Who do they sell the water to? They don't necessarily go to all the farms. I know they sell it. I don't know who they sell it to though. I'm not into the sort of whole New South Wales, Queensland politics. So sometimes watch Friendly Geordies just rant, and I feel smarter watching it, but I'm not actually smarter.
Yeah.
But I just go, that's my sort of information for the month.
You can just blurb out one bit of information, be like, okay, please expand on this, and that's it.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, I remember I went on a weird, it was 2 years ago, I went on a weird, spree of reading on global warming. I'm not too sure if I believe it now, but, I was, convinced just, off an article global warming was real. I was just stupid. But one thing I do realize now that I did from 2 years ago is I don't read everything and go off that first article. I don't even, half the time I don't try to have a strong opinion on things just because I don't know too much about it, or because I don't believe half the shit that I read. Or
yep.
So, and I know, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world in my opinion. It's just I'm self-aware, but I'm not the smartest guy in taking information in. So I just know, can't really. I shouldn't have that strong political views or global views in my opinion. So
it's. Some people have a ridiculous view, and it is severe, one or the other, and it's just you can't be in between.
Americans are really strong in their views. It's crazy.
I love it.
That's the one. They're very strong, and I just go that's so much, putting so much energy into your views. Fuck that. I couldn't be bothered. I just want to relax.
I know, bro. It's fucking nuts that they're so passionate. I respect that they're passionate about it, but. Honestly, man, that's all they do. They go to work and they fucking focus on their passions.
Yeah, but it burns you. It'll burn your personality, and it burns it burns your whole country.
100%, 100%, man, 100%. But even now, the whole agenda to change to electric cars, it's fucking nuts.
It's not going to work. It could never work in Australia. I think in the US it probably could, but
I don't think it's going to work at all, man.
But yeah, I don't know. We've got too many weather conditions in Australia. I think we should go more electrical, throughout Australia. We should, obviously use our resources for, with all solar and all that sort of stuff through WA or something. But I don't think our conditions don't really cater to, these floods and stuff. You can't really go driving an electric car through all these floodwaters.
No, it doesn't work. Look, that's a really good point that you bring up and well thought of outside the box there. I was thinking more of with electric cars, first of all, you've got to get an electric car out of the ground. You've got to mine the lithium and get that shit. By the time you do that and manufacture one of these cars, it only lasts for 20 years. You can't recycle the battery. You've got to chuck it into landfill. So that's an issue. It's just landfill after landfill. They're prone to massive fires as well. So if one of those cars gets in an accident, it will most likely catch on fire. The other issue as well is that, Tesla, for example, their insurance system is based on if you speed a lot and what you do in your car and all that type of stuff. So if they have access to that, then the government they can track how fast you're going and just send you out a fine if you go over the speed limit. It's just, and even the fact that they could probably just turn your car off too.
Yeah, I'm not too fussed about the whole government, tracking every little step because they're already doing it anyway. They fucking go through everything, your Facebook, everything. So and they'll always be revenue raising regardless of them tracking your speed on your cars. So it's anything, man. The one thing I don't get, bro, with speeding fines, for example, is you could get done by a mobile speeding camera, and then 2 weeks later you get the fine. Yeah.
That's in the meantime, you're still speeding around for 2 weeks, not giving a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they're fucking expensive now, man. They're so expensive. In Melbourne, I've just got one last weekend. I was maybe 20 minutes late to my car park, and just a $120 fine. It's just you don't pay them, and they fucking triple. And I know that because I don't pay for EastLink fines, and they were stacking up.
Your speeding fine or your parking fine?
My EastLink fine, which is just the toll roads. I didn't pay it. I forgot to pay a couple of them, and your next thing you know, they're $2-3 grand.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. My old man got nuked on them. He had 20 grams worth of owing on toll went back when I worked for him. So
didn't you guys not have an e-tag or some shit or what?
Just fucking didn't pay him. He just didn't pay him. It just didn't pay him. Didn't have a card on record. No, just didn't pay him.
Should be fucking right.
It'll come out at some point. Yeah, next thing you know, you got all these fines and but living alone.
Anyway, so. you move on from that shit. But bro, how good's the fucking gym, man? Really, since finding that, how's life been for you, man?
Yeah, gym. so like I've gone through a few phases of gym actually. Like, first phase, like back degenerate phase was like, train to lose weight. Then it was train to get big.
Yep.
And then it was now it's train for mental.
Yep.
And like you can, whatever you go on there and do, you can choose what you want to do, whether it's, build size or just feel good. Like that's the best thing about it. And it's at that time where you can just go sit there and be in your meditative state, chuck on some music. But yeah, no, the gym's awesome, man. Like I really enjoyed it. The bodybuilding side, probably like a year ago, was probably the biggest I ever got. And it's just, there's just, you can just constantly enjoy it, and you always go back to it. And if I don't go to it, I feel like I'm fucking going backwards. I want to always feel good. So I think, and I know you train a bit too, so it's definitely a really good hobby for most people should pick up if they're not doing anything. So yeah, I also got into Muay Thai. Yeah, I got into Muay Thai a bit last year as well. So yeah, Muay Thai was that shit was hard. So, but I remember being like 95 kilos, and I'm not the tallest guy. You've seen me. I'm not the tallest guy going around, but I got to 95 kilos doing Muay Thai. I was this big fucking tank. Obviously I juiced out to the gills and test, but like, and I just sit there like fighting, and we were doing all this cardio, and I just got like. I was on Anavar at the time, and my leg pumps were fucked. Like I felt like my legs were bleeding, and it's just like I can't do this anymore. I'm just like I'll just focus on bodybuilding for the moment. And I was eating like 4 or 5 rooster rolls a day, like just fucking going nuts on food, and it was always good. Obviously not maintainable, but and getting off roids and stuff like that really stopped my enjoyment for the gym a lot for a while, because once you're on it, it's really hard to get back to it. It's like really hard to be at that. You feel good. You go out partying the night. If you're on a cycle, you go out partying the night before. The next day, you're there's no hangover. You wake up like fresh like a baby. You could have a 2-hour sleep.
Really?
Yeah, man. I was doing work on 2 hours of sleep, 2-3 hours of sleep. Wake up feeling like a tank all the time, feeling good as.
Oh God.
I remember going to my doctor because I was getting my bloods done, and I was going to the doctor, and they just said, and they do my test levels, and they're going, "What the fuck what's up with these stats?" Like, I'm just like, "Oh, I just eat heaps of chicken." And he's like, "No, don't." And he was rushing. He's like, "Don't fucking lie." Like, yeah. So
it's just the chicken, bro. It's just the hate chicken.
Yeah, and he's just Russian. Farmers, man. Yeah, he's like this Russian dude. He's like, "That's not right, man." It's just like
that is not right.
Yeah. So, but no, it's just, and then it's a different life being on it. So enjoy it.
I'm surprised that it helps a lot with the hangovers. That's impressive.
It's
and lack of sleep.
It's peak performance of a human, man. I was on practically 10 times the normal testosterone limit as a male, and when you're on that sort of amount, you're at your peak performance all the time. Your peak
10 times.
Because your recovery is like,
dude, that's one. It's supposed to be like
I think
1 mil. So you were taking like 10 mil.
Well, your testosterone, I don't remember what the exact number is for the count, but like normal test levels, I think it's like 100 something. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
But I do it. My natural testosterone was like 1300. So.
Holy fuck! You were like the epitome of like.
And I was doing a normal bulk cycle, so.
Yeah.
And it was like the normal amount you'd take. Any sort of Reddit like Wikipedia page will say the exact amount that I was on. It was you just don't get hangovers. You're at your peak performance the whole time. But telling you, coming off cycle is the worst thing. I don't wish it upon my worst enemy. It is the worst thing ever. I see why people stay on it for life.
Oh no! So, did you take extra drugs to help you come off it?
Oh, that was my
went cold turkey?
No, I was on Nolvadex, and I was taking Rumidex for the sides as well while on it. And it's just like the Nolvadex tries to get your nuts back into full swing and get your normal testosterone levels for a while. But there's like a period when you're coming off cycle for 2 weeks, you're not supposed to take anything.
Oh.
And like, yeah, and to flush everything out essentially.
Yeah. And
that is it's fucking horrible. It is the worst feeling ever.
Oh no.
I was so, but I'm not saying I wouldn't do a cycle again, but I just don't have that passion for bodybuilding as much as I used to. So there's just no point. And unless you really think about taking it serious, or you really think about competing, that's the only time I'd probably ever recommend doing it, to be honest. So
yeah,
for the moment, it's one and done.
Yeah, I know that's Joe Rogan. He's on TRT just a little bit. He's only on like a 0.5 of a mil or 0.1 of a mil, so a tenth of 1 mil. Every day, and it's just enough to have him sitting at a normal-ish level. Because when you're older, like he's older, 55, you have none.
It just drops. You don't produce anymore, and that's why they say you should be only really consider it really after 25 or even after 27, because that's when your natural test starts to stop. Like, being at peak performances, coming up from, youth. I was a little bit young to be doing it at my age, but a lot of most people that should be thinking about doing it is over that 25 years old. I've read up on so much information that period that I was doing. The things I was taking at the time. I really got to read through every other substance, and there's people that come and message me, hey, what do you think about doing this? And they come and say, hey, I'm gonna go jump on tren or do all this shit, and I'm just thinking, like, you don't need to fucking do all this stuff. Like, start basic. Don't fuck your body up. It's not about being cool because everyone on people are saying take tren, and is like it's not about that. It's reading up and actually understanding what you're putting in your body, and that's dieting is one thing, but I really enjoy looking at the chemicals and like all the, whether it's obviously from my drug use experience, it's like I really enjoy experimenting with those. So experimenting in this, I like knowing everything about them. So so peds but yeah.
Well, the part now is that I don't know where you got them from, and I don't really want to know either. But it's just trusting the source where you get it from. I know that one of my buddies, he was on the gear, and he had like a calcified arse cheek because of when he went for the jab, and I'm just like, holy fuck, man. And I'm like, what was it? He's like, just a dodgy batch. And he's like, 100%. I'm like, it's fucked.
And that like post-injection pain comes down to just bad oils and the way it's been mixed. So, and that also comes down to like, all because someone, a bro at the gym that can get it for you, doesn't mean it's any decent. It probably will still work, but the way it's been mixed together is, it's obviously going to hurt. And if you're a new beginner and you're pinning for the first time, you're definitely going to get pipped, but it's going to be like 30 times worse if it's just shit chemicals. So it's all a bit. I obviously can't say where to get it, but there's definitely reviews on what you're taking and where you're getting it from. So
for sure, man, for sure. But yeah, that's the other thing, man. Even with like regular like party drugs and stuff, it's tough because now they have the drug testing kits and all that type of stuff. But to understand if they're safe, if they're not, what's in them, all that type of shit, it's all laced with different shit. You could OD from just one hit, or it's not feeling right, so you take more and take more and take more, and then you feel it, then you OD, and it's pretty scary, man. How fast it can all happen.
Australia is quite lucky in that aspect. In as much as we do have obviously overdoses across the board. We could be in a worse situation like America, where everything's laced with fentanyl, or which is like more life threatening. But a lot of the stuff we have in Australia is a lot more like. It's more, they're more party drugs, and more than anything. Whereas over in the US, everything's it's more just a coke. Painkillers are huge over there, and it's we're very lucky we don't have that massive issue compared to over there. We still got it, but it's nothing to that extent.
Absolutely, man. And even like for people online, they see influencers and they're jacked out of their fucking mind. They've got a really nice tan all the time. These things are all
No, those influencers, they're on test. They're mixing their test with melatonin fucking injections, which give you a tan. I remember doing that. I tried to do melatonin injections like when I was on cycle, just because you want to have that Ziz aesthetic. Like, you want to be tanned, you want to be jacked. And shit, like, didn't work for me. I'm too German, man. Like, too German. It was just made me sick. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely those social media. Like, so many are on it. It's ridiculous. So,
100%, bro. Look at Liver King. He has to be on it, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna make sure. A lot of them just come out and say that they're on it now. To be completely honest,
Liver King doesn't, because otherwise you'd lose all of his sponsorships.
Yeah.
So he's gilled out of his fucking mind. He does look good. I respect it. Like,
that's the dude. Liver King's the dude with the beard and ab insertions.
It looks like I feel like he's got.
I'm pretty sure he's got ab insertions. He came out and said it. So that's why they're always popped. So
yeah, he's also a troll though. So who knows, man?
Yeah, no,
he's getting out of his mind. I used to always love watching Bradley Martin, but what happened to the downfall of Callum von Moger, bro? Like, that's sad,
Callum
man.
von Moger. Yeah, that's crazy. It's friends of friends that know of him. I'm pretty sure he's doing really good now. Like he's because I know he went into a coma for a while. So, but he's by the looks of things, he's got to get it together. But yeah, that's
jumped from a 7-story building, man. Like holy shit, bro.
Yeah, I don't think that was just the influence of steroids. I'll be honest, man. So,
okay, it's not true.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay,
that's not. I don't. It could be, like train obviously is like a big thing to send you with the mental side effects, but I don't think that's just strain. But
yeah, it's not good, man. And dude, imagine that guy's path if he didn't get injured rock climbing or lifting those dumbbells, those barbells and shit. Like
he was on the takeover for a while, man. He was on the takeover doing like all the
Bum would still be second and third or fourth if he was still reigning what he was doing. And his personality was so gentle and funny as well. He had that Australian flair, and it all just went at the snap of a fingers like that, man. It's crazy, and it just shows that it's a volatile environment, man. Everything is come and go so fast.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, man.
So, yeah.
Oh, but have you seen that news with Amaranth?
Bro, I don't get caught up in that sort of stuff. It's like I don't know too much to have an opinion, and I don't want to have an opinion. I don't want to have an opinion. I also it's not my thing. I don't get into Twitch drama or like Twitch news and all that sort of stuff. I watch MXC highlights and that's about it. So
that's fair enough, man. That's fair enough.
I can't have a take on something I don't know.
Yeah. Look, in a recap, it is pretty sad if it's true or not. With what's happening with her. So all the best to her and her well-being and whatnot. But look, it's been a tough journey for you, man. But you're definitely on top, which is fucking sick, man. So
thank you. Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. So, exciting future. So
you got Tokyo coming up. You got going around Australia, bro. I'm fucking admiring you, bro. It's fucking sick.
Yeah, we'll see. We haven't got anything set in stone yet, but we're in the motions. I'm living with I live with Lordsome these days. I don't know if you remember Lordsome. So we got a place in the CBD. So
bro.
So yeah, that's.
He's still doing his editing and stuff, isn't he?
He works at. I probably shouldn't say where he works,
that's
but
right.
he's doing live production.
Yeah, cool. Oh, good on you, man.
So he does. Yeah.
It's crazy to think that, like, even for yourself, you've just done this as a passion project, and now you possibly have a job in the industry doing what you kind of love, but on the other side of the camera, behind the camera, shooting someone else.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's like I think the passion jobs don't pay as well as the other jobs, but it's you have to weigh out what you want to do and if I want to have salary sacrifice. I'm not too sure yet. Like I earn really good money now, but I just don't know if I want to sacrifice that and go into a passion project. We'll see. Only time will tell is how my mental will be. And that'll come down to some, if it's money that's making me more happier, or if it's the passion project. So we'll see. Yeah, but it's pretty hard at the moment with the price of everything. So
I know, bro.
You don't really get a choice.
It's ridiculous with the price of everything, man. I looked at it before and I'm like, dude, I'm spending just in bills before I even put a meal on the table. Yeah, very, 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 very close to $1,000 a week. It's bad. It's bad, bro.
Yeah,
and now prices are up.
Rentals are fucked. They're so fucked. So the pricing of everything, like when we got our place, we're getting overcharged by a mile, but when we rocked up, there's like 30-40 people open for an inspection in Melbourne.
Really?
Yeah, man. And I think because we're gonna go look for a new place in probably January, it's gonna be even worse. So
fuck, man.
See, we've got to wait. I think we've got to wait about a year and a half before things, I reckon, will go back to somewhat normal, in my opinion.
Oh man, it's fucking crazy. Like with fuel prices, for example, oil's been cheaper than it's ever been in the past year. And they're still charging through the roof of it to like maybe recoup losses, or I don't even know. But now we're just
there's no losses on oil.
Nah, now we're just paying for it.
It comes from the ground. It's owned by one person. It's owned by companies. It comes from the ground. It's they already own it.
I know. So. It's one thing that annoys me about fuel is that it fluctuates price.
Yeah.
Like, it's the only thing that you pretty much buy that fluctuates price apart from stocks.
Yeah, it's just so strange.
It triggers the fuck out of me, bro.
Obviously the rich stay rich, right? And they got expensive tastes, and if their tastes are getting more expensive, they've got to make more money.
Yeah, so much. They just see the numbers and they're like, okay, let's increase it. And the people that can't afford a car, they'll just won't have one anymore. And the people that can, well, they'll just pay the price. They can afford it.
That's it. Or people are always going to pay for it.
Well, that's it. That's the argument as well with electric cars. Like, holy shit, what's going to happen there? I'm surprised that they even let it slip through, these petrol guys. Considering that I think the guy that
that's the thing. I think they won't for a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Even the guy that invented the hydrogen car, he got clapped, bro. He got absolutely taken out. So.
Yeah, right. Did they kill him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He invented a car that would run on seawater.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, they can't have that.
No, you can't have that, bro. You can't have that. So he's fucking been clapped. No gravestone for him.
No plans still from those original? Or they get rid of everything?
Destroyed.
Yeah,
I think that a hydrogen car is coming back into play, which is a half electric, half water. So the H from H2O powered cars, but no seawater, which totally makes sense. But because when the emissions come from a seawater car, it just goes to the sky, which then evaporates and then rains back down again. It's totally fine. It's totally cool. It's good. But that would be just too practical, and no one would make money from that. So, unfortunately, and whatnot. But what's the goal nowadays in gym for you, anyway, man?
Not get fat. Just not get fat. That's pretty much it. I'm just want to look good in clothes, and that's all I really care about. I still got some size on me. I've still kept some size, and just looking pretty. I guess that's about it.
95 kilos, there, man. 95 kilos. That's fucking, that's what. I'm 93 right now, man.
Yeah, I know you're much taller than me too, so I was stocky.
You would have been a fucking double chicken nugget, man.
Yeah, I was a chicken nugget. But shit. Yeah, no, I'm at 85 now. 85 now, and we're trying to go down a little bit more, and so I can. It's just like living a healthy weight,
Yeah,
that's
What's
more.
What's a healthy weight for you? Like 80?
Probably 80. Like 80. 80's like nice and slim. Look good in clothes. Yep. Jawline comes out more. Yep. But like at 95 kilos, you're just fucking constantly ballooned. Even though you like look good in shirts, but you're just still constantly ballooned.
Yeah. So you're fuller in the face.
Oh yeah, but I was like a donut. I looked like a donut, but I looked good. Don't get me wrong, because I still was. A lot of it was water weight. Once you get to that sort of weight,
yep.
And then, but yeah, it's not a nice feeling. You're not really mobile. Can't really sleep properly, and it's like, yeah, it's just,
can't walk through doorways properly.
Yeah. But,
that's fair enough. Yeah, my goals, man, in the gym at the moment, I am focusing on a bit of functional movement. So I think that it's really important for myself to get a bit of, like, I don't know how long I stay in the trade for or whatnot, but depending on my job hunting. But it's really important to get the bones moving and the joints moving and all that type of stuff. So I'm thinking that functional movement by, echo bike, a lot of skipping. I was doing skipping anyway, like for the past few years. I'm really good at it now. And squat ball throw, like basketball throws. You've got box jumps. You've got all that type of stuff. It keeps you athletic. It uses different muscles in your body. So splitting that up with some weight training. I got my push, I've got my pull, and then I got my legs on separate days, and then I've also got my functional movement days on the 2 other days that I go hard as fuck on. It's a good balance, and you want to train your heart. Like at the end of the day,
it make your muscles and your limbs feel all good all the time, rather than just being just lifting weights for the sake of lifting heavy weights. To shape your body, it doesn't actually help the internal, the bones or the muscles themselves. So.
Oh, absolutely, man. And the way I think about it is that when you go to the gym, whilst a lot of people's objective is to lift and do the gym stuff to look good, I think the main benefit that goes over people's head is the benefit cardiovascular wise. because visceral fat's extremely dangerous to people around their heart. Like you see a lot of kids out there, or blokes that eat a ton of shit and they just don't get fat. That's because there's a lot of visceral fat around their heart, which is extremely dangerous and prone to heart attacks and whatnot. So it's a benefit that you're doing your cardiovascular type of stuff, but then it's just a little bonus that you actually look good in the mirror. That's the way I see it. And people don't look at you as a weight on the scale. They don't say, "Oh, there's fucking Kane. He is 85." They see you as, "That's Kane. He looks good." That's it. Yeah. Period. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, they're not. Unless you're the bros. Bro. Sometimes the bros will hype you up for, how much weight you're putting on, and like that's when you go in gym, like people start going to gym because they want to pick up girls, because like at the end of the day, it's just like all the boys that are like hyping you up after. So
100%.
So, but it's you are right in that aspect of that. So
it's the fellas that hype you up, man. Going to gym it should never be about anyone else. To a degree, if you're in a relationship, you want to look good and be fit for your partner, so then you're there. If they fall over, if something happens, you're fucking strong enough and all that type of stuff, and you're there for them as well as your kids.
Well, in order to, you got to love yourself for someone else to love you, right?
That's right.
For me, I need to look good to be able to love myself. In my opinion, I need to be presentable and feeling good, and then the rest.
Absolutely.
Whatever.
And that backs up my point, man. You've got to love yourself. Exactly what you said, man. And whatnot. So, but we're coming towards the end of the podcast, but I want to touch on one of the last few things. How did the relationship with you and Howie all start, man?
Okay. I don't know. It's like it's a little bit of one of my regrets. Still, that's probably one of my only regrets, to be completely honest. The way like that everything went out, like I don't know. It's just like Twitter, I guess, trolling each other, or like I don't know what you'd call it. Like I think I was in the wrong a little bit. Like I probably should have, kicked back, and I am pretty kicked back with it now, because the way I use my sort of following and the way that I reckon I could have dealt with the situation better in terms of making content with him. Like don't get me wrong, we had our good times and making content together. It was really good. But there was a time where I felt like, I don't know if it was more before me, that like obviously the bullying community was probably as worse with Howie, and I felt like I sort of, in my opinion, I steered a lot of the bullying off Howie, but by making videos with Howie, and then we sort of built a following together in that sort of way.
Yep.
So I felt like that's the way I think I turn things. Not many people. There's always going to be people that see it differently, and I still had my agenda to grow my streams. At the same time, I saw the benefit of also helping grow him in a positive light. So that's where, building a documentary, it's the documentary, was a 4 to 5 month project that we were, like me and Jai were working on. And, obviously the stream popped off and it was well awaited. And I think by the end of it, it took a lot of like the heat that was happening through Howie's streams off his shoulders, in my opinion. So
yeah,
that was a really weird time, and I wasn't really into content that much, but at the time, but it's that period of time, I felt like it did more good than what it was affecting him at some point, in my opinion. So yeah,
I respect it, man. And I think that your perspective on it was aligning with mine as well. I think he was having a great time. He was loving it, and some people spun it and stuff. And kudos to him, man.
People will always spin it,
yeah,
and I don't get me wrong. There's people that hate my guts through the community, but what have they done? That's the best way to put it. What have they done to make the situation better by sitting there fucking chucking up a tweet, talking shit?
Yeah, so with their egg profile picture.
Yeah, their egg profile picture, or their I'm not gonna say names, but but it's just like let them do them, because at the end of the day, I've benefited him more than other people benefited him as well. So
imagine
gave him a PC. I gave him a PC.
Oh yeah, that would be fucking.
Yeah, PC. He streamed. If he didn't, he might not have got anywhere with his content. I'm not too sure, but anyway.
Yeah, I understand, man. Imagine a gym sesh with Howie. Bro, that guy would be a fucking animal.
Yeah, well, I don't know. When we were doing the E-Boys on tour thing, when we were going to go overseas, that was planned for me, Howie, Naked, Awesome, and I think it was someone else. I think Mido or something. We're all going to make content overseas, and that could have been like it could have been a big thing like for the future for I guess ANZ content, But things happen for a reason.
Yeah, well, that's it, man. I think that he's in a good place now. I know that he's on crutches. I'm not exactly sure on his situation, but he's he means well.
Yeah,
he means well.
He definitely means well. No bad bone in his body.
No, not at all. But yeah, there was something else I was just about to fucking ask you, man. I can't. What was it? I'm gonna go to sleep tonight, and I'm gonna be real pissed off that I didn't ask you.
Yeah. That's all right.
Dude, the MWR days, man. How fucking good were they? Do you miss that era of COD?
They were some of the best gaming times of my life. Like, just the fact
that was unreal.
Yeah, no, I was fucking addicted. That was my game. I already know that was my game. I cleaned up on that game, made money on that game, zimmed my tits off on that game.
I was just about to ask you the big question.
Yeah. I convinced the fact that no one banned me that whole year was an absolute piss take. And I infested that community with keyboard and mouse. And the fact that I got away with it so long, that many people got onto it, and it was glorious.
Oh, mate. So, do you have any words for the people that you fucking trolled and beat with the keyboard and mouse, or what?
Just get better, I guess.
Yeah,
just
that's
fucking
fair enough.
Easy money, it's like, and that's the best thing about the MWR community was it was so toxic that toxic like family that we had. It's like a weird bond, like even to this day. Anyone that like played MWR in like CGI, CGM, CGA, like we all have like a weird respect for each other now. Like
CGD, bro.
CGD as well, yeah. That was a big game. The fact that it had CGD on that game, that was the first time Fives ever had like sort of even CGD. Compare like the other CODs, it was CGI and CGM, and the rest there wasn't really much more.
Dude, our team should not have been fucking CGD. We were beating CGI teams. It was fucking bullshit.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Who are you beating?
We definitely.
Like, are you talking about like you were versing him in the one day comps that we'd have on CG every night? I think.
Yeah, we'd have 1 day comps. We'd have just scrim matches, all that. Like we'd beat Skeleton's team. I think we nabbed you guys. You guys had a really good team. We nabbed a few teams, man. It was like myself, Fergs, Fighter's brother, older brother.
Yeah, young and what with like M-Dub or something.
Yeah, MWR.
Was he playing? Yeah, no. There was a guy named Callum M-Dub. Was he in your team with Fergs?
Oh no, he wasn't. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, we did clap them too, and whatnot. So, but yeah, that was a nuts generation, man. That was sick as, and that game just had it so well put together, man. Like all the gun skins, the money 8s on every Sunday. You'd be smashing a fucking ton of Red Bulls. You do your meal prep, all that type of stuff.
The fact that we had like that last season was insane. It was me, Pudgy, Den's Damage, Luca, Status, and it was just literally the best of the best for that era of COD. It was
I remember Status as well. Does he still play?
I don't know if he's alive, to be honest. No one knows where he is. He was a weird one.
That guy was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was insane.
He was fucking insane.
He was really good at CS as well. Like he was the type of guy who could go pro in anything, like in my opinion. So
yeah, okay.
But yeah, weird fella.
Who was another jet in the scene?
Who
was another jet in the scene?
There was. I'm trying to think. Like Lordson's team was pretty good. Lordsson and his team were good. I was trying to think. It's been a while. There was UK, which was like Zaspian and all those sort of Portugal, those sort of guys. Probably won't know them very much.
Mikey Quickscopes. Quickscopes was.
Yeah,
he was good.
Yeah, I think he was playing with like Crizzy and stuff.
He was playing with. He was playing with Skeleton.
Yeah.
And. Oh, there's this
Legacy
guy.
And stuff.
Legacy.
Yeah.
He was a nutcase. I loved him.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Good guy.
I like Lego.
But yeah, that was some crack teams back then, man. If I could have like a week or 2 weeks back in that week, 100% would. 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Money 8s were always flowing. It was really good.
Oh, 100%. And do you reckon we'll ever get back to that?
No, I think S&D is. The S&D wager thing is sort of done in Australia. Everything's Warzone now.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think Call of Duty competitive is dead as much as people think it's not. It's done. So
yeah. Arena shooters are pretty much shut down. The last hope that we have is just Halo, and that's it.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that'll last a couple of years before it gets old again.
Yeah,
like it did.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty sad. But dude, is there any final words that you have for the end of the podcast?
No, not really. But thanks for having me on. It was good having a chat. It's brains being picked. I'm tired as now, so thank you for. I'll sleep well tonight. And I appreciate anyone that sort of watched and sort of had a listen, I guess, because it's I'm not that entertaining, but some people might find me a little bit entertaining. So I appreciate the people that have watched me over the years. So yeah.
I think that a lot of people will like that you've jumped back on in the community to see where you are, a bit of past memories and what's going on now and whatnot, and what your journey is, and they'll be definitely following you along the journey. All Andy's stuff will be linked in the socials, in the description below, guys, ladies and gentlemen. But that's going to do us. So make sure to keep a thumbs up on YouTube if you guys are watching here on YouTube, and if you guys are on Apple, Spotify, or audioboom/GFreak Speaks, make sure to give it a 5-star rating, okay? It's fucking easy, okay? So just do it. Just do it. Otherwise, you hate me, and I hate you. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Remember to be safe, stay strong, and as always, boom, baby. Peace.